Hi, viewers, and welcome to another episode of On the Farm, where we're vocal about everything local. I am Shakima Hanley. On this episode, we're still on our journey through our series of interviews for Agri-Expo 2026, our 30th anniversary celebration. But before we get into this, we take a short break and be right back after this. Agri-Expo 30th anniversary celebration, Thursday 26th and Friday 27th of March 2026. Under this year theme, Rooted in History, Utilizing Land and Sea, it's Agri-Expo 30. We're inviting one and all to come on out to a highly anticipated event from the Ministry and the Department of Agriculture for March 2026. I hope to see you there. Don't miss it. It's going to be grand. Welcome back, viewers. I have another guest with me today, and first I'm going to ask him to introduce himself.
Yeah, my name is Daniel Arthurton. I'm a farmer at Catesby.
All right, Mr. Atherton. So now you're a farmer. However, we know that you were very instrumental in the Department of Agriculture. Please tell the viewers what are some of the positions that you would have held.
Um, well, I was the manager of the government propagation unit at Prospect from about 1982 to about 1985. And then, no, 82 to about 84. 85, I became the extension officer from Hermitage right down to Eden Brown. And then that's when we had the first our first open day of sorts, 85, up in Old Manor, and the first real exhibition for farmers' produce. Then I went away to the United States and came back in 91. When I came back in 91, I was the marketing officer. So I was responsible for all things marketing,
Okay.
crop and livestock. The office was down at the marketing unit, which was built by the Canadian. Down front, it was built for the Nevis growers, but we always understood that Nevis growers were organization, but they couldn't afford to pay the marketing officer. So that's the government's contribution. So the government contribution was all of my salary and all of the electricity and all of everything there. So there was an understanding that government manages and control, along with the Nevis growers, actively participating, because that time we have the farm to table model, with Four Seasons, which was started in February of 1991, where we concentrated on between 4 to 6 items going down to Four Seasons. And during that period, as marketing officer, we were responsible to make sure that we do the crop forecasting for those 6 items and that we take them down there. But we also were working with the Four Seasons with other areas like the meat. So that was when we got our first meat cutting saw and started to take down chicken, pork, and chicken, pork, and mutton. But those were mainly for the staff. Because what we were saying is that, whatever we can sell from here, we will sell to them. And then we had eggs also. We were working with the egg farmers. We had about 5 or 6 egg farmers, Jones, Cherokee, Albert, person like a man named Sidney Place. So those were the ones who dealt with the eggs. We had a very good arrangement with Four Seasons because we were doing a lot of stuff. So I was there for that, and then I left in 1996. I was there from 1991 to 1996, and I demitted the department in 1997.
In your capacity at the department, how has been your contribution towards Open Day? What was your contribution towards Open Day?
When I was an extension officer, I would get stuff from my dad from here as Catesby Farmers Association. It was Catesby Farmers Cooperative Society that time.
Okay.
And so I would, make contribution in that way. But then when I became an extension officer, I would be in the Open Day in a kind of administrative capacity to help with people who were participating. When I returned and we were doing farming here at Nevis Hydro Gardens, what we would do, we would have a mini version of the hydroponics so that people can see what was happening. But like I said, the advent of Open Days, as I recall them, was when we had the first one at Old Manor in 1985, where we actually had, that was when I was the extension officer from Hermitage to Eden Brown. And so we had all the farmers and all the agro-processors in the St. George's area that they came, and we had, an Open Day where we dealt with the Rastas were there, and we had food from them, and then we had other food items, cooked and uncooked, and arts and craft from the people, artisans in that area. Because when I did agriculture extension, we also did work with those people who did like jams, jellies, and other things like that.
Okay. How have you seen the Open Day evolve over the years?
Well, I think that the directors, Merchant, Bailey, Powell, and more recently, Randy and so forth, they have, put some time and effort into it, and it's good. What we've seen in the last couple of years, it's a good effort to maintain. In the old days when I was a child, they used to have something called agricultural exhibitions, and those were done in different parts of the country. So for example, if you had a livestock exhibition, it would be probably Indian Castle or New River. And so you will have the different categories from fowls go right up to cows. That's what it was, all over in beautiful pens. I could remember as a child. That's what I remember of. It was called agricultural exhibition. And then later on, we had that which we now have, which is a more on the park and so forth. And I must say that the built infrastructure this year was superb. I think that, once you marry that with, the other areas, like, people participation and that sort of thing, it's an exceptional thing. I think it's very good. And, it's a good preview for the positive things that can happen.
All right. What has the impact been like from the open day event on the island of Nevis, for you personally?
Well, I'm a believer, so you know you don't really try. The Bible say God didn't go for the people who already saved. He goes for those who are not saved and bring them to repentance. So what we really need is not the focus on those people who are there, but an effort to make sure that you get more people, young and old, and people with money and people with resources and people with the right mental attitude, a business-like approach to take up agriculture. And so I think that the impact it has had for the public is that it has sensitized the public as to the possibilities. And, you know, I must say to you that, I mean, the possibilities are tremendous because there was a time when Nevis was self-sufficient in my lifetime when I was a young man. And we're talking about, let's say, in the 1980s. I mean, right hovering around when Christina sank and so forth. That's 1970. But between 70 and 80, I think Nevis still did very, very well in terms of, I think it was in the 90s when we had two serious problems that affected us. One was the dermatophilosis tit, and had a significant effect on killing out the population and also the transfer of that tick to the donkeys. Because what is now a donkey problem for us was a regular source of meat for French countries. So, I mean, so that was one. And then we had some serious droughts in the 1990s. So it had double effect. The drought meant that the animal conditions were, you know, under stress, and so it made them more susceptible to the dermatophilosis. And so making them more susceptible to the dermatophilosis meant that we lost some, I think maybe 9 out of 10 animals. It was that severe. And so, but I do know prior to that, we were a net exporter of crabs, lobster, conch, fish, longline, and potfish, fruits, processed drinks, marby, sarsaparilla, those kinds of things, because we were shipping to the Virgin Islands where there's big population. And then we had food, like a lot of fruits. You had breadfruit, avocado, and provisions. Yams and those things went back after the 1990s also. We just realized that there was a fungus, anthracnose, that came down, and then we lost a lot of yam, just like we are losing the citrus now. But there was that period when it was a real great time for the persons can tell you, we used to call them the vessel men that used to come from the neighboring islands. And what we did not know, we wondered why they were buying so much, not only cattle, but they were also buying donkeys. And we realized that the reason why was because donkeys are eaten in those countries. And so when that was the case, once the dermatophilosis showed up on the animals, because dermatophilosis, once any animal has dermatophilosis, the vet would not approve its slaughter for the meat, because the blood, you know, the dermatophilosis can transfer in the blood from one animal to the next, and similarly the tick, you know, if you have eggs or whatever that's in it, it will probably affect the human. So that's why we ended up having all of that. Another thing that was a big seller at the time, Ross University, not Ross University now, the School for Behavioral Science over at Boria in St. Kitts. At that time they had maybe, right now I think they have close to maybe almost 100 members of staff over there. But trapping monkeys, live monkeys, for sale down there was a big thing. And people were paid a lot of money for monkeys.
So you're saying the open day definitely would have been economical
Well,
on the entire island?
no. The open day had an extension effect, which was you do the demonstrate, you do the demonstration, you do use you understand the method. When you have the method, you demonstrate it to the people, they go and use it. And so what it happened, it had two things: it built capacity in the people, but at the same time it also built the resource base that people can buy stuff locally. Because I mean, yes, while I was at the marketing unit in 1991, people used to come in there from Dominica to sell. And we decided that, listen, they're not going to come and do any retail sale. So we made them go into the market, rent a stall so we can get money from each one of them. And we tell them they can be there from 2 o'clock until 5 o'clock. But there were people who wanted to come, go on a truck and go around the island. We said, no, that's not for you. For you, you come and you sell wholesale to the KTs and the other people, Brother Freeman, not Brother Freeman because he used to grow his own, but the other people, Miss Library and those people and Amethyst and them in the market. And then once you sell it wholesale to them, then they can, retail to the people here.
Okay. Is there any aspect from previous open days that you would have definitely liked that you could recall?
Well, what I like it was the gifts that were given were not just let's say cash or something. What about it that was good at that point in time was the fact that you were given maybe an acre of plumbing, harrowing, banking and rotovation. Because that used to be in collaboration with the marketing unit. And then they will get a knapsack, or they will get, maybe 2 tins of carrots, 1 Danvers and 1 Chantilly. So that these go a long way. You get how many thousand seeds in an ounce of carrots. So when someone gets a 12-ounce tin of carrots, that is significant.
Yes.
In terms of impacting. So I think that the thought ought to be given to those kinds of gifts, because it's a lot more than the money that they can get. If a person gets a solo knapsack sprayer, that is game changing, because it's resilient. It's a very strong 4-gallon operator, and that person can have that for 13, 15 years. I have remnants of solar knapsack sprayers that I have going double-digit years. So it's important to think. I think those are the kinds of things. Those are the things that I'd like to see. That it's not. You're a bit distant when you just get a money, and that money, you go and you buy something. You might not even buy something of an agriculture, input. And so, in my humble view, that if that were given that kind of consideration, then it would have a significant multiplier effect, because you can't plant the carrot seed other than, planting the carrot seed.
Yes. All right. Is there anything else that you'd like to see come back for our 30th anniversary?
Well, it's come forward, because going back is, I'm not into that. I would like to see come forward, the extension awareness again, because I think a lot can be learned from the partnership between the farmer and the extension officer. It's a very interesting dynamic, and it has significant social and economic impact, because there was a time that some of the farmers in the country, they were liaised with the extension officer. They believed in them. They had the trust. They will give them the money to pay for their plowing, and then that extension officer will lobby the department, the small equipment pool to make sure during the week of 2 weeks out, you must have a plow. So that, I mean, so when you think about that linkage between, the department and the community, it was assured because it was a skin in the game for the extension officer to make sure they come good with the farmer, and for the farmer to make sure that they have some respect for the schedules that are agreed to.
Yes.
Because that's the real breaking point why you have gluts and scarcities when you don't have that close coordination.
Just for clarity's sake, you were making mention that in the past you would have had agriculture exhibition at different locations across the island.
But that's when I was a child.
Okay.
But when the open day, and that's why I made sure there was a difference between the exhibitions, which was in the time of Mr. Johnny Clark and Mr. Chief Nisbet,
Okay.
and those were people who are senior to me.
Okay.
You understand? And Earl Jeffers and those other persons. However, the open day, which is a nomenclature that came out of our working with the Caribbean Agricultural Extension Program. With the Caribbean Agricultural Extension Program, it was the Midwestern universities of the United States, along with extension departments across the whole region, along with the University of the West Indies, University of Minnesota, and with the University of Wisconsin. What they did is that they had this arrangement where it was an integrated approach of teaching and learning and demonstration and results and sharing, and also awards for the people who were successful persons at delivering the extension methodology. So that is where those sets of open days came from.
Okay.
It was aligned with it was called the Caribbean Agricultural Extension Program, and it was followed by the Regional Agricultural Extension Consortium, RAIC and CAEP.
Okay. All right. So the last thing I want you to do is to invite the general public to come on out to the 30th anniversary staging of Open Day. We know that you were one of our patrons.
Yes.
Of course. We
Yeah.
definitely had to honor you because of the great work you had been doing in the department and is continue to do as in the agriculture sector.
Yes.
So this is your time to take the opportunity to invite the public for next year's 2026 Agri-Expo.
Well, I'd like to take the opportunity to invite persons to see agriculture production, agricultural productivity as a very meaningful part in transforming this country. Right now, with some of the headwinds that we are getting globally, with the United States and some of the geopolitical things, and it's meaning that it's more economical for people to do production in the country, and the cost of producing here, it can be more realistic. So what we would like to see is that persons, take the opportunity to do that, make better use of their lands, and then when you finish doing that, you can contribute to reducing the imports, because that's significant. It's a drain on the economy, and we're buying things that we can actually grow. A lot of the stuff that we see here are actually items that we can grow locally. We really do not need to pay to import those things. And so I would like to invite persons to become more studious, more industrious around their places, and then produce to the extent that you can become one of the participants in the open day and make a meaningful contribution to agriculture development in this country.
Thank you so very much, Danny, for being here on Farm with us.
Yes.
And we do wish you all the very best and continue with your great work that you're doing within the agriculture sector on the island of Nevis and even within the Federation.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Fresh local fruit and vegetables produced for our nourishment. Buy local, eat local.
Welcome back, viewers. I have another guest joining me today, and first I'm going to ask him to introduce himself.
Good day, all. My name is Garfield Griffin, manager of the abattoir. Practically been at the abattoir since 2002.
Okay. Outside of the abattoir, were there any other positions that you would have held within the department?
My previous career was a veterinary assistant. I worked at the veterinary clinic from 1988 up until 2001. Then I did some training and attachment with the St. Croix abattoir before taking up this position in 2002.
Okay. All right. So within your capacities, both veterinary assistant and now the manager of the abattoir, what were your contributions throughout open day for the years?
Okay, when Open Day originally started, I was at the veterinary clinic. It used to be at the compounds, as it is, at the veterinary compound for livestock, and the abattoir compound for meats and so forth. And at the other end of the Prospect propagation station, where we have all the farmers and vegetables and that stuff. So we used to have our displays on this side, and then patrons would walk across and visit the other side.
Okay. You made mention of display. Can you remember any display from way back then?
Just similar like we did today, we used to have on the grounds different livestock breeds, pig, sheep, goats, cattle. And because we were in our setting at the veterinary clinic, we were able to display the different tools we use, the drugs, which include the warmers, vitamins, and other stuff. How you treat, for example, a broken limb, how you identify animal with external pests or internal pests and that sort of stuff.
Okay. Now, in your capacity as abattoir, we know the abattoir unit is one of those places for every open day, people must attend that station because everybody coming to buy local meat. Tell us how it has been over the years as a contributor in that area.
When we originally started, like I said, it was, I couldn't vividly remember, right here, when we started at the abattoir, we had like a meat sale right on the outside on the 8 to 10. And then we transitioned to the straight grounds. Then again, we had tents, but it was like moving the abattoir from its original setting onto the school ground because we have to work with basically everything. The raw products and as well as the processed products. As the year goes by, we continue to increase on the amount of processed products that we were processing. Leading up to now, the 30th anniversary, I think we're gonna do 30 for 30.
Ah, wow. I'm looking forward to that. I'm definitely looking forward to that. So how have you seen the event evolve?
The event has evolved tremendously over the years. I could remember at the veterinary section again. What we used to do when we moved to the school grounds, we used to have competition.
Okay.
Like livestock farmers, like the best boar, and these are huge animals, not just displaying breeds. The best boar, the best sow, the best male goat, the best ewe goat, and that sort of stuff. So it was kind of a rivalry.
Yes.
And this would gather some interest among the farmers and as well as the patrons and support. So that was a highlight for us back then.
Okay. Can you remember when you started with abattoir, the first open day under the abattoir umbrella for you? Can you remember what was some of the products that you would have had to see and comparing to now?
Basically, like I said, when we started, it was just basically raw products.
Okay.
Raw meat products.
Okay.
We never started with any processed products at all.
Do you remember when did that start to happen, the process part of it?
Products, to pinpoint a particular year, I can't quite remember.
Okay.
But I know after I got here in 2002, around 2007, I did some training in Jamaica in terms of processing and bacon and that sort of stuff. Subsequently, after then, we started processing hams, we started doing bacon, we started doing sausages, and the list goes on.
Okay. All right. Is there any particular aspect throughout the years that you would have liked? I know you made mention of the competition amongst the livestock. Is there anything else that you would have liked from previous open days?
You mentioned the competition. Now, what we seeing today is basically display breeds,
Yes.
and these are smaller animals. I think the public is still clamoring for the larger animals, so that you could see the true potential of the animal, from baby stage.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with having the small animals. You could have both.
Yes.
You could have what it looked like, and then what the end product is going to look like. And from the meat producer standpoint, you like to see these animals so that you see them at the final stage to make a determination. Hey, this, for example, pig, this is good for bacon, this is good for hams, this is good for ground pork,
Yes.
and that sort of stuff. So something like that, I would like to see coming back.
30th.
Yeah.
Okay. You definitely jump right into my other question. What would you really like to see from the past to come back for 30th? And I think it's a very good idea. I was never around to see that sort of rivalry, but I think that for sure would bring another set of excitement on the actual day of the event. All right. So what has been the impact, in your opinion, whether on the island of Nevis or for you personally, that the event would have had
It's
or is having today?
It's a huge economic impact on the island per se. Generate a lot of funds in a wide cross section of the island in terms of farmers in different aspects, not only livestock but crops, ornamentals, craft. So it's a huge economic impact for the island of Nevis and for the farmers itself.
All right. Well, Gary, I give you the opportunity now to invite the general public to our 30th anniversary. As you're already saying, 30 for 30, so I know from Abattoir it's going to be grand. And encourage them to come on out and continue to show their support to the Abattoir department.
Well, I would just like to, at this point, encourage the public to look forward towards Open Day 2026. It's our 30th anniversary. And from our standpoint at the Abattoir, we're still in preparation stage, we're still in planning stage, but we have some ideas bouncing around. For example, like I just mentioned, our processed products, we're going to make it 30 for 30. 30 processed products within 30 years. Yeah. As well as we have some other ideas. I'm thinking about something spectacular for the display table. I'm not going to release that yet.
Don't give out all your secrets yet. Let them come.
It's going to be grand. So I'm just inviting everyone to come out to the Open Day next year, 30th anniversary. Abattoir section is going to be a huge event.
Thank you so very much for joining us on the farm, Gary, and continue to do the tremendous work that you have been doing as a major contributor for our Open Days. Thank you for being on the farm again.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And there you have it, viewers, another episode of On the Farm. We were vocal about everything local. Just to recap, we're still on our journey with a series of interviews regarding to persons who contributed to our Agri Open Day, now dubbed Agri-Expo, for the past 30 years. We're encouraging you to stay tuned because we have plenty more in store for you. Until next time, I am Shakima Hanley. Bye.